All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of 2 Minute Drill. We are here with our top 5 power forwards in the NBA going into the 2024 season. Super excited for this one, and we're gonna have Omar start us off. Let's get it.
Yo. What's going on, everybody? How we doing? Small forwards. Let's get started right away. At number 5, Jaren Jackson Jr. Easy pick. I think he is top. How can I say this? With that, I feel like with Steven Adams moving out of the way, Zach Edey really becoming that big man for Memphis. I could really see more movement from Jaren Jackson Jr. and giving him more of a chance to be even better than what he was before. His defense was impeccable. His offense can become even better. I'm looking forward to it coming up this year. At number 4, I'm gonna go with Zion. I think he's an up and coming player. Oh, and just so I could mention this before the Knicks fans get on me, Julius is number 6, and we're gonna keep him there. I love him, but he's not on this top 5. But at number 4, Zion. Listen, this man was peak in high school and has consistently ran into health issues his entire career so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing when Zion is actually at 100% and really turns into the hype that he was in high school. For number 3, I'm going to go Paulo Banchero. This man was number 1 pick 2 years ago, and he has lived up to every second of the hype. I think this man is going to be a top. I think he could be a top 3 power forward in this league. I think I already fucked up this list, haven't I? But now, Paulo Banchero, I'm going to stand behind him, power forward. Number 2, I'm going to go Kevin Durant. We're just going to go with history on here. You know, he's older. I can understand that. But with that being said, he is still one of the best power forwards in this game. At number 1, I think this is kind of obvious. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's kind of been ruling the NBA in that regard. So the Greek freak is on top.
Yeah, I feel like I will say power forward is probably a list that there are going to be some snubs. I feel like there's a lot of great power forwards. So
this was really hard to choose from, actually. This was really difficult.
I feel you on that list, Omar. I really do. So at 5 for me, I'm going to start off with, first of all, honorable mention to Jaren Jackson Jr. He is right there, but I feel like the guys ahead of him, I had to put ahead of him respectfully. So we'll just start there. Number 5 for me, I think I'm going to go with Pascal Siakam. I think he's kind of not forgotten, obviously. I think his role is changing a little bit, moving to the Pacers. I think he's a nice number 2 option next to Tyrese Halliburton, or some people would say number 1. But his impact, I mean, we talk about guys who can potentially like affect the game in not triple-double status. Obviously, he doesn't get enough assists, but he's a decent playmaker at his size too. So I'm putting him at number 5. Number 4, we're going to move to – this is so freaking hard. Okay, number 4, we're just going to go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid. I'm going to go Lauri Markkanen. I think Lauri, he had a really decent couple years in Utah. I mean, looking at his stats, he's putting up 23 a game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. I'm just looking at stats and his impact. So I'm going to put him there. I'm not going to have any shame about it, and I'm going to move on. Number 3 for me, I'm going to go with Zion Williamson. I think Zion has been playing tremendous basketball. I think obviously injury is a big concern with his career path, as Omar said. It definitely limits his positioning on this list. But as far as like affecting the game, we know when Zion plays, it helps the Pelicans win. That's just a fact. When Zion is playing basketball, that Pelicans team is night and day. It's a whole different organization, especially with Devontae Murray coming in to the Pelicans this year. I think he's going to help Zion's game get a lot easier. So hopefully that can help unlock him and put less stress on his body. Now we're getting to number 2. Obviously, my list is already it's already cooked. I realized that. It's not enough positions, man. We should have done top six. Top six would have been better.
Yeah, top six would have been better. It's good to mention that, man, there's a hell of good players here, so it's really hard to choose from. And some of these players got like three positions.
First time ever in this, I'm recanting somebody. Okay. I'm gonna move Laurie to 6 on my list because I have to put Paolo Banchero at 4. I have to, just because of what he's doing. That's why I said if we have 6 spots, it'll be easier, but it's top 5. And then moving on to number 2, I have Kevin Durant. I think you just can't not put KD here. Same thing with LeBron James. His impact is just insane, especially for that Suns team. He's a guy who checks in and gets you a bucket immediately. So with him being on this list and so dominant, I have to have him at 2. And number 1 for me, obviously, is Giannis. He's a guy who's pretty much unstoppable. I love watching him and AD battle. I mean, I think it's some of the funnest game. Well, some of the best games, I should say, to watch this season. So Giannis, I have to give him his respect as the number 1 power forward. But if I rank AD as a power forward, you wouldn't be sniffing this list. I mean, no, just playing. But yeah, I have Giannis at number 1.
All right, Max, what do you got?
For my list, I will say Lauri Markkanen is not on my list. For number 5, I'm going Pascal Siakam. I probably wouldn't have answered this 6 months ago, quite frankly. I think as when he was on Toronto, Siakam was on track for a bit of an underwhelming season. I feel like he had kind of been, not regressing, but kind of plateauing when he was on Toronto. But he went to Indiana and, say what you will about luck and matchups and injuries and stuff, but he was clearly a great fit. I watched him firsthand in the playoff take over games offensively. His low post skill is right up there with some of the best in the league. Can hit the 3 when he's at it, a solid enough free throw shooter. Pascal showed that he can be a number 1 scorer on a good offensive team in the playoffs. So for me, that's good enough to land him at 5. 4, I'm also gonna put Zion like Omar did. It was such a shame. Zion was having maybe the best game of his career in that play-in game when he had 40 points and just got bit by the injury bug at the wrong time. You could see how much it pained him because he knew that he was really starting to unlock a part of his game that we just hadn't seen before. Like straight up 40-point dominance in a really meaningful game. Only a few power forwards in the league can do that. I think Zion showed he can do that last year. So as long as he's healthy and on the court, I don't see why he can't repeat that kind of efficiency this time around. Number 3, I'm also going to go with Paolo. It was really tight for me. The toughest decision on this whole list was Paolo versus Zion, but Paolo has straight up just led this Magic team, which, I don't think any of us are going to claim they have the greatest supporting cast around. Definitely a good cast of young role players, but Paolo is the undisputed leader of that team in year 2 going into year 3. Put up all-star level numbers, showed in the playoffs that he's good enough to drag that team to a few wins, almost got him to a win over the Cleveland Cavaliers, a more experienced team in that playoffs. He's, got an insanely good upward trajectory. He's an all-around player. I really like his game. So I think he's going to establish himself at number 3 this year. Number 2, similar to seems the consensus here, is Mr. Durant. Crazy that at 35, he's still as good of a scorer as he is. Super efficient as he has been his whole career. Just super dynamic. He can score from anywhere on the court, driving, post, 3-point, deep 3-point. You have to guard KD everywhere, even though he's been in the league for like 15 years now. So just that pure offensive ability. Obviously, he's never been the greatest defender, but he's solid enough. That lands him at 2 for me. But at number 1, of course, it has to be Giannis. I genuinely think you can make the case that Giannis is the best player in the world right now. When you look at, two-way players, Jokic, fantastic offensive player, doesn't play like a defense. Luka, ditto for him. Giannis has both sides covered. One of the best defenders, on-ball defenders in all of the NBA, and still puts up 30 points a game just on unmatched speed, dominance, and size. It's a shame that he hasn't been able to be healthy in the playoffs these last few years. But heaven forbid the league runs into a healthy playoff Giannis at like age 29 or 30, like right at the peak of his prime. I think Giannis could really make a run this year for being the best player in the world.
You know what I regret? I do regret trying to limit it to 1 player per position, because what I'm realizing about a lot of these lists is that there's a lot of repeat players from a lot of positions, because there's like a lot of players and a lot of good players that dominate like 3 positions or all 3 positions that they play. Like I would have put Anthony Davis on this list at like number 2, and I would have put DeMontis in this list at like number 4. Like,
yeah, it's tough to say, but it's all splitting hairs at the end of the day. But yeah, I still can't. I'm glad you revoked your Lowry pick, Earl. I will say that.
Well, the thing is, I feel like he is good enough to be like a top 10 talent as far as like that power forward spot. But like when you look at guys like Paulo Banchero, I feel like just the team success alone, what he's been able to do, like you said, for that Magic team and almost win a playoff series, that definitely puts him ahead. And just the way he plays basketball, I feel like it's just kind of a tier ahead of Laurie, if I'm being 100% honest. So I'm good enough to I'm well enough to understand when I make a mistake, and I had to fix it in-house on stream this time because I completely forgot to mention Paulo, which was my mistake. So shout out to Paulo Banchero again. He's gonna be really great. Yeah, people really don't talk about him a lot, which is kind of crazy.
Not at all. One of the most underrated players. I mean, he's going into year 3, so and he plays in Orlando, which is unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it be.
Yeah, but
anything else? Anything else, guys? Anybody about my list in particular? Or no?
I mean, your list was actually solid this time. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't before. That was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that okay, before I say anything else controversial, I think we should end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching our top 5 power forward list. If you want more BTB content, make sure to follow up, like the videos on our channel, and we will have these videos in a playlist so you guys can binge watch them if you want. And we will catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.